Dig deeper. We have a former FBI agent and terrorism expert live in our newsroom tonight. This is James Conway, president of Global Intel Strategies. It's a Houston-based firm that consults on terrorism and national security. James, thank you for being here first.
Pleasure to be here, Chris.
At least 6 attacks. You heard the stats, more than 150 people dead. It would take an awful lot of planning to pull something like this off. What does the coordination of these attacks tell us about whoever is responsible?
Well, that's the concern, and the concern is that when you see something like this, it's obviously not a lone wolf kind of thing. These are individuals that have training, have tradecraft. They may be returning fighters from the battlefields of Iraq and Syria. That's the concern. France has, intelligence experts are that upwards of thousands of French citizens have traveled to the battlefield, and upwards of 1,500 of them have returned to French soil. And that's the big national security concern, not only for France, but also for Europe and the rest of the world, are returning battle-hardened bad guys with tradecraft. They know how to make bombs, they know how to use automatic weapons, they know how to use grenades, they will wear suicide vests, as we've seen tonight, and that's the big concern. This could be Europe's 9/11.
Fox News had been reporting there was a suspect actually in custody claiming to be Syrian, said he was recruited by ISIS, though to be clear right now there are new reports that just surfaced that all of the attackers are dead. ISIS has not officially claimed responsibility, though members are celebrating on ISIS-related social media accounts. Do you think this is the work of ISIS?
Well, social media is crackling, but the intelligence services of Europe, as well as the United States, who all work hand in hand, will drill down now. We'll identify the subjects, both those that are dead and alive, and begin to connect the dots and determine who they're linked to and what the French are concerned about, as well as our European colleagues. They're concerned about other attacks. Is another shoe about to drop? Are there safe houses in Paris where others are waiting in the wings to conduct other attacks? And that's what you can rest assured. The French gendarmerie, the French National Police, and the intelligence services will be drilling down to determine, through electronic surveillance, through analysis of their telephones, their texts, their emails, who they're linked to, and are there other attacks waiting in the wings. That's the big concern for the security services right now.
James, the manner and fashion in which these civilians were murdered is horrific. I've been watching the coverage on Fox News all night. Shot one by one in the music hall, grenades used, suicide belts, as we heard, an absolute slaughter. Your reaction to this kind of barbaric killing, how do we as a world fight back against such depravity?
Well, they come from an ideology that conducts crucifixions, burns people alive, beheads individuals, journalists, and so forth. So I'm not surprised by the brutality of this. And this is what we are faced with, we in Western civilization, not only the Europeans, but us and our partners around the world. And this is what we have to face. We have concerns here. I think the Europeans' threat matrix is higher than ours because of their demographics and the makeup of their country, and to a certain extent, their lack of some of the tactics and techniques that we use in the United States to keep the homeland safe.
Again, I was reading on social media tonight, some people are pointing to the recent influx of Syrian refugees fleeing their war-torn country to Europe, that perhaps these terrorists were part of that stream of refugees coming in. What's your take on that?
Well, you have two prongs of folks coming in. You've got the recent streams of refugees coming in, but more importantly, and I think of greater concern, are those returning from the battlefield, those that have traveled overseas and have fought on the battlefield of Iraq and Syria and have returned to French soil, German soil, Belgian soil, and so forth. With the returning refugees, the difficulty there for police and intelligence services is you have no way to vet these people. You can't go to the town hall in Baghdad and determine if they've ever been arrested. You don't have any intelligence capability, any intelligence collection capability against those refugees coming in. It's just you're operating, you're shooting in the dark. You don't know who they are. You don't know where they're coming from. You don't know if they're Syrian, Palestinian, Egyptian, or whatever. So that's the difficulty with the thousands that are streaming across European soil.
James, final question. What do I tell my kids tonight? Should we be worried here in the United States? What do we take away from this?
Well, we are, the upside is I think we do a real good job here. The FBI and the intelligence services here have thwarted upwards of 100 attacks in the United States. A big part of that is the intel that's collected from the American people. The cliche of if you see something, say something really does work. And the JTTFs, the FBI, the police in the United States get a lot of tips from folks out there who say, you know what, these guys have moved into my apartment building and they're just acting funny, or they're saying something violent. And it's those words and those pieces of information that come, that force multiplier of folks out there in the community that share that information with the police and the FBI, make us a safer nation.
James Conway from Global Intel Strategies, valuable insight tonight, sir. Thank you for coming in.
It's my pleasure.
And the FBI released a statement tonight regarding Houston's security situation. It says, quote, "We have no information to indicate a threat to the Houston territory at this time. As always, we encourage the public to remain vigilant and report suspicious activities to local law enforcement or the FBI."